Next year is the 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, and with that comes all the speculation on what is Sega going to do during that year. Now, Sega has taken the approach that now every year there's some sort of campaign that goes along, and that kind of tells you what to expect throughout the year. Last year was the Year of Shadow campaign, so the entire year was all about Shadow, which explained Shadow Generations. It explained the Dark Beginnings animation, and that was, of course, also because of the movie as well. Shadow was going to be a prominent part of the movie as well. But this year, for 2025, the theme has been racing around the world, and that's because of the big game this year was Sonic Racing Crossworlds, a racing game. So it's all about racing. Sonic has been collabing with a bunch of different racing properties. He's partnered with McLaren. He was part of the Sao Grand Prix. So like there's a lot of different racing things that Sonic has been collabing with this year. And next year, it looks like that the campaign will obviously probably be the 35th anniversary campaign, celebrating 35 years. So with that, we are kind of in the speculatory phase now. Crossworlds is out. It's doing its thing. We have announcements for what's to come next year for Crossworlds. Crossworlds is going to continue into next year. So that'll be some stuff for the 35th anniversary as well. But the big thing is, what is going to be the game for next year? Because that's also the model Sega's adopted, which is one Sonic game a year. Probably around the September-November mark is around when they put the game out. So what is going to be the game, right? So the big game everyone thinks it is of course Sonic Frontiers 2, the sequel to Sonic Frontiers, the next mainline Sonic game. It has been about 3 years at this point in time, and by the time next year comes around, it'll be 4 years. Now, Sega has normally said that their development cycle for games is about 4 to 5 year development cycle for games. So some people are thinking, okay, will next year be the next mainline Sonic game? Because since Frontiers, we've got Superstars in 2023, along with all the free DLC with Frontiers, and then 2024 was Shadow Gens, and this year was Crossworlds. And I believe they said in an interview that Crossworlds marks the last time a game was in development pre-Frontiers, and now every game going forward is post-Frontiers development. Well, I believe Shadow Gens was also post-Frontiers development because it used its new engine. But like as a big game, Crossworlds was the last one that was conceived post-Frontiers. So now everything going forward is post-Frontiers. Sorry, Crossworlds was pre-Frontiers. So will we get the game? Is the game next year going to be Sonic Frontiers 2 or whatever it's going to be called? I doubt it. It's going to be called Frontiers 2, but that's just what we call it at the moment. I would love for that to be the case. I would love for Sega and Sonic Team to have, really just focused in on Frontiers 2 and have it out in time. When you look at the polish of Shadow Gens and how much better controlled it is, how much better it handles than Frontiers, it's like, okay, that's good. If this is like a little peek into where we're going in the future, this is good. The way Shadow operates in Shadow Generations is he's much smoother than Sonic is in Frontiers. So that's a good sign. That's what we're going to for Frontiers 2. It seems like they've really refined how you feel when you play the game. In terms of look, probably going to keep the same look as Shadow Gens. I mean, Shadow Gens, this detail in Shadow Gens is very good. There's a lot of great details in Shadow Gens, like to the point where you can see a lot of his quills. Like even then, and the way that Shadow expresses himself, it's a lot better handled. So I really am looking forward to that in Frontiers 2. Now, the big problem I have, and the main concern I have, is it's only been about 4 years, and I want them to take their time to make sure this game is perfect on release. As much as I adore Sonic Frontiers and love it with all of my heart, it was released in an unfinished state. There was the typical glitches that you see normally, right? That were easily patched out. But when you look at the roadmap for this game, right? You look at the roadmap that they set out, And when they started doing the free updates, which included a jukebox, photo mode, all the new challenges, and then they had the open zone challenges, all the new Coco, like, and then they had the extreme difficulty, they added boss rush, like all this stuff. And you're like, great. That should have been in the game day one. And you know what? It probably was, which is why all those content updates were free, because Sega was being nice to us and didn't want to jip us of money for us to pay for stuff that we should have gotten from the get-go. And I think we all knew at the time that, like, yeah, this was stuff they meant to implement in the base game at the beginning, but because Frontiers was rushed out the door, and they had to ask for an extension, you know, even then, that this stuff was meant from the beginning, and we didn't get it. So I would like for this not to be the case next year. The next time we have a mainline Sonic game, I'd love for it to be finished upon release, so I don't have to worry about stuff like that, and we can just focus on any DLC updates can be actually planned as DLC updates rather than stuff that was meant to be in the game at launch, but couldn't be implemented. I would much rather that. So I mean, I'd love for next year, it's announced, hey, sequel to Sonic Frontiers is coming as the big game. I'd be over the moon, and I'd be excited for it, and I'd be hyped, and I'd be making all the freaking hype videos about it non-freaking stop for any little breadcrumb we got, like I've done with Shadow Gens and Crossworlds. I'd be there for that. But I also want them to take their time. We don't need an 06. Okay, we cannot, this series cannot handle another Sonic 06. Sonic 06, for the anniversary, rushed out the damn door because they needed to meet that deadline. And he almost killed Sonic. Sonic was dead for years, and only now we're in the redemption renaissance era of Sonic, of him coming back. And while a lot of people like to hype it up, being like, oh my god, Shadow Gens was great, you know, Sonic's back. Oh my god, Crossworlds is great, Sonic's back. They are great games. Sonic isn't back. The movies are doing great. That's awesome. They're bringing Sonic back to the zeitgeist. We're in a position where Sonic can partner with all these entities like IHOP, freaking McLaren, you know, like he could sponsor something at a freaking racing Grand Prix now. You know, he sponsors with Puma. Like, we're in that position now where it's favorable for those brands to be seen with Sonic the Hedgehog again, which is great. But Sonic isn't back. He's not back. Because he's still in the position where every game needs to hit it out the park. We're still in that phase. One wrong mistake and we're back to where we were. That's where Sonic is at the moment. He's very fragile. He's very fragile at the moment. He's getting stronger, right? The brand recognition's coming back, but he's still very fragile. He's still very fragile. And we cannot afford to have a big misstep. Especially not when it's the next mainline Sonic game. Absolutely, that cannot happen. And, you know, Superstars as well, I let Superstars out. Superstars was seen as kind of meh, kind of mixed review, especially in Japan. They fucking hate Superstars in Japan, right? For us in the West, we kind of saw Superstars like, it's okay, right? Like, after Frontiers, it's like, we weren't expecting, I expected more, but whatever. For what it was, it's all right. Right, and then Shadow Gens comes out, and that's the game where everyone's like, oh, fuck, yeah, you know, this is great. And then Crossroads comes out, and we're like, oh, yeah, great. This is the racing game we all wanted. It's like, we cannot have a misstep. All right? Coming off of Frontiers, which you said is the basis for where we go forward, you cannot miss this. He is very fragile brand. Okay? We cannot afford this. So, what else this brings me to is the idea that Sonic's next game will be announced at the Game Awards, which is on December 11th. So we're less than a month away from it. Now, the Game Awards has now recently put out the nominations for their categories and all that, and Sonic got 3 nominations. So he got Sonic Rumble was nominated for Best Mobile Game. Okay, sure. Then we got the Best Family Game, which got Crossworlds, and Crossworlds was also nominated for Best Sports and Racing Game. I don't think Crossworlds is winning any award. I don't think Sonic's going to win an award out of any of this, but it's nice he got nominated at the very least. And people are asking, will this be where they announce the new game? Possibly. I could definitely see the Game Awards being where they announce it. I would have assumed they would have done a Sonic... They haven't done a Sonic Central this year, which was crazy. I would assume the Sonic Central would have been where they do something. But a big stage like the Game Awards is the right place to announce something, right? So I can definitely see, you know, the new Sonic game being announced at the Game Awards. Will it happen? Again, I don't know. I cannot say for 100% certain where I'm like, yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna have it at the Game Awards. And I can't say, no, they're not. I cannot say. I can see either way happening. If it's announced, I'll be freaking jumping over the moon when we get the title, and the speculation will run wild. If it's not there, I'll be like, yeah, all right, it'll be next year, right? I'm in that mode. That's how I look at it. But this is just my rambling thoughts. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think the next mainline Sonic game is next year? And if you do you think it's coming at the Game Awards? Will that be the first announcement? Let me know in the comments down below. And everyone, I will see you guys next time.